Señores y señoras, primero que nada quisiera agradecer a la Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá la invitación a participar en este foro internacional sobre el plan de ordenamiento territorial de Bogotá. Estoy muy contento de estar nuevamente en esta dinámica y atractiva ciudad. Muchas gracias. Igualmente, quisiera felicitar a la Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá por la iniciativa emprendida y por el fomento a la planificación urbana. De mi punto de vista, la modificación excepcional del plan de ordenamiento territorial es un gran logro. Puedo recomendar a cualquier planificador en esta región y además, señoras y señores en todo el mundo, de leer este documento. Más aún, el documento puede ser considerado una pieza fundamental para implementar una estrategia racional a futuro orientado hacia un desarrollo urbano y regional más sostenible. En esta oportunidad me quiero dirigir no solo al colectivo de planificadores urbanos. Espero que esta iniciativa, pues no solo contribuirá a la reputación internacional de Bogotá como ciudad que aspira a un desarrollo sostenible, sino también porque contribuirá a un mejor futuro para los habitantes de Bogotá y de Colombia. Señoras y señores, como me siento más cómodo hablando en inglés que en español, y porque estoy convencido que muchas gracias. Estoy convencido que el tema que nos convoca es demasiado importante para ser mal interpretado por razón de idioma. Permítanme ustedes hablar en inglés. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I come from a medium-sized city in Germany, the city of Dresden. Some of you may have heard about it. And it's in between Berlin and Prague, if you put it in the global picture. And some years ago, one of the weekly newspapers showed this picture. It showed the picture about Dresden dried out. The Elbe River, our main river, dried out. And this is rather astonishing because the location is 51 north and 54 east in the world. So no reason to be dried out, actually. But we see, if we take our forecasts, our scenarios for the temperature and precipitation for the coming century, for the end of the century, then we see that we have less precipitation and higher temperatures. This you can see here in this diagram. Also, we cannot be very sure about everything. One thing seems to be rather sure, this is the rise of temperature. The rise of temperature will be rather significant. The other one is the fluctuation, the variety of the water. The water, we may have more even precipitation, but most probably we will have less. And in July in 2003, we had this picture. This was the lowest water table the Elbe River, our big river, ever had. It was just 75 centimeters. So just 75 centimeters away from what this weekly journal was showing, 75 centimeters. Well, we didn't have the palm trees. We just have some artificial ones, but they don't count. But 1 year before, we had the highest flood ever. It was 9 meters and 40. 9 meters and 40, and you see a picture here. And it flooded the whole old town, our precious place of culture, very much known internationally. It flooded a lot of housing areas, and somehow unusual, a train station should normally not be underwater. But this is what happened in Dresden. You see it on the right picture below. And yeah, when we were having this kind of catastrophe in 2003, 2002, we thought this will come maybe in 100 years again. And just this year, just a few months ago, just in June, beginning of June this year, we had a similar catastrophe, a similar water table. It was almost rising to the same level. You see it here on one picture concerning the bridge. The 2002 flood had washed out the bridge, so you see it rather light, and you see the water table of this year was rather close to what we had. But we did not have the catastrophe in the city, and this was a remarkable difference from the time before. People were much more organized. They knew how to handle such a situation, and the city, through technical aspects as well, had been prepared from a technical and engineering point of view. So we could avoid all this kind of disaster. But it was still the biggest catastrophe Germany had ever, if we look at the finance. And one of the insurance companies, the big insurance companies, they were thinking about or calculating about 12 billion euros as damage in the whole Elbe Valley. So we should have been aware of the situation, because already in 2003, natural scientist Christensen, they published an article in Nature, and they said our results indicate that episodes of severe flooding may become more frequent despite a general tendency towards drier summers. So we should have been aware of it, but we are not preparing ourselves enough for that. I have two messages coming out of this short story in the beginning. I think catastrophes, they are important for us, for our sensibilization. They increase our sensitivity for what can happen. And meanwhile, being aware of that, the climate change discussion has been strengthened, and it is an integral part of the land policies meanwhile. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about three aspects. One is about the climate change and the international debate about mitigation and adaptation. A second one is how do we link in urban planning, in land use policy, in planning to climate change internationally. And finally, what does that mean concerning the port here in Bogotá? I just would like to make a few remarks concerning that, if you allow me.